Hello there, welcome to another special edition of African Football Archives, and today we are looking at the 6 greatest African teams in World Cup history. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share. 5 African sides will head to Qatar looking to etch their names into the tournament's illustrious history. Ghana, Cameroon, Morocco, Senegal and Tunisia would all surely be content with a run to the quarterfinals. However, the quintet will each be acutely aware that any side that could go one stage further would surely break a glass ceiling for the continent's football. In no particular order, these are the 6 sides that have come closest or who have made the biggest impact on the international high table. Rabah Majer is one of North Africa's finest exports. The striker was a European Cup winner with Porto in 1987, having scored an equalizer in the final, and was also African Player of the Year in the same year. Both he and the magnificent Lakhdar Belloumi were in fine fettle during the World Cup in Spain. The Desert Foxes prospered under the tutelage of 2 men during the 1982 World Cup. Meidine Khalif looked after the men during the Summer Olympics of 1980, while he was joined in Spain by Rachid Mekloufi, himself a national hero from the legendary FRN team of the late 1950s and the early 1960s. Unfortunately, Algeria were eliminated in the first round, following collusion between Austria and West Germany. The 2 European neighbors, knowing that a German victory by 1 or 2 goals would see both sides through, they played for a specific result. The shame of Gihon remains one of the World Cup's ugliest moments and ensured that one of Africa's finest sides will remain eternally unfulfilled on the international stage. For Emmanuel Amunike, in a career of many injuries and many frustrations, the World Cup in 1994 stands almost unbroken as a souvenir of the winger's sublime skill. He scored against Italy and Bulgaria, and having been tremendously influential in bringing the continental crown back to Nigeria only a few months earlier, he looked to have the world at his feet. Dutch tactician Clemens Westerhof remains one of the great names in Nigerian football. He took charge of the nation's golden generation of the early 90s and finally began to realize the country's immense footballing potential. As well as harnessing a collection of memorable talents, he crucially won the African Cup of Nations title with the Super Eagles in 1994. Nigeria's opening game of the tournament and their first ever match in the World Cup was against Bulgaria at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. A Super Eagles side containing the likes of Finidi George, Rashidi Yekini and Daniel Amokachi smashed the Eastern Europeans 3-0 in a match that remains one of Africa's finest single performances at the World Cup. Asamoah Gyan was the figurehead of a Ghanaian side that packed the midfield with strong players. These men built the moves while Gyan was there to finish them off. He scored the extra time winner against the United States, a late winner against Serbia in the Black Stars opening match, and the first half equalizer against Australia in Rustenburg. Despite missing the late penalty against Uruguay in the quarterfinal, Gyan held his nerve to open the scoring in the ill-fated shootout. Serbian Milovan Rajevac was one of the numerous Yugoslav managers to find recognition through managing in Africa. He took over the Black Stars post in August 2008 and guided the team to the final of the 2010 African Cup of Nations before heading to the World Cup. For all their good work, Ghana's World Cup showing in 2010 is best remembered for Luis Suarez' scoreline handball in the dying seconds of the quarterfinal. The Uruguay's accent denied Ghana's place in the semi-final. Before El Hadji Diop became the most detested figure in British football, he was a lightning player with the world at his feet. Certainly the controversies and the questions of temperament lingered, but people spoke of the left-sided forward for his pace and his incisive movement rather than his spitting and acrimonious comments. The late Bruno Metsu enjoyed a long, distinguished career in his native France as well as Asia and Africa. The summer of 2002 was his crowning glory, but also won the Gulf Cup with the United Arab Emirates in 2007. The Teranga Lions' opening defeat of France will eternally be remembered as one of the tournament's greatest upsets and one of the most iconic moments in World Cup history. The West African were debutants, while France were not only a European powerhouse and the reigning world champions, but one of history's greatest collection of international players. Roger Milla may have made history and become a medical mystery by finding the net at the 1994 World Cup at the age of 42, but he also made some vital contributions 4 years previously. He scored 2 extra-time goals against Colombia in the round of 16 to secure Cameroon's place in history as Africa's first ever representatives in the World Cup quarterfinals. Having given up on his mediocre playing career in his mid-20s, Valery Nepomniachtchi had a long time to prepare for his coaching career. Although major successes in his homeland had thus far avoided him, the veteran boss had built a reputation for himself in Turkey and China. His finest hour, however, remained that summer in Italy with Cameroon. Cameroon opened the 1990 World Cup with a battle against the world's Argentina. In one of the tournament's greatest ever shocks, the indomitable Lions held their own through a bad-tempered match in which 2 of their players were sent off. The clash was settled 67 minutes from the end when Francois Omanbik leaped above the defense to head home. Argentina stunningly could find no reply. The indomitable Lions were thus introduced to an international audience and the stage was set for a fine campaign. Abdelrazak Kairi was the top scorer for Morocco, but it was the creative genius of Mohamed Toumoumi that supplied the front line with chances to feast on. Jose Faria had a valid team at his disposal with Aziz Boudabala, Saladin Himed, Mary Kirimau and Mohamed Toumoumi. Captained by Badou Zaki, Morocco became the first African country to finish on top of a group stage ever in a World Cup at the 1986 World Cup. A win against Portugal and 2 goalless draws against England and Poland saw them to the round of 16, which is another milestone on its own. This has been the 6 greatest African teams in World Cup history. If there are any great sides that you think we should have included in the list, please feel free to let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. That should be all for now. See you next time. It's goodbye.